All right, guys, today we're diving into a bit of a thought experiment that may just make you rethink your entire policy on renting.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.
So welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm your bro Ryan.
And I'm your bro Taylor.
So let's step back and think about it this way. What if for the past 15 years you didn't pay rent? Instead, you took all of that money and it was invested in the market. Would you be rich? Would you be sipping Mai Tais on a beach in Bali right now?
Oh,
What would you be doing exactly? Let's get into some numbers. So the average rent in the United States in 2010 was about $1,000 a month. I wish. Fast forward to 2025, and it's pushing close to $1,700 a month, obviously depending on the city you're in. So you take the average rent in 2010 of $1,000 a month, 15 years or 180 months. So the total rent paid at that 2010 rate is $180,000.
all right, $180,000. That sounds like a lot of money. Now, let's think that if instead of paying your landlord, you invested that into something, say the S&P 500, which has been a pretty consistent source of returns, and over the last 15 years has averaged about 11%. How much would you have by now? So again, if you invested that $1,000 every month starting in January 2010 at an 11% return after 15 years, you would have roughly $440,000. So instead of paying your landlord that 180, you'd have 440.
Yep, you heard that right. Almost $500,000. Almost a paid off house in most places in the country right now.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real. You still need a place to live. You can't just stop paying rent, throw all your money in stocks, then you'd have nowhere to live. So, what was the whole point of this thought experiment?
Well, that's an excellent question. It's really all about perspective. A lot of people view rent as simply throwing money away, but people need shelter and everything, and it's not always feasible for people to own a home. Really, it's all a matter of seeing, wow, if I were able to cut back a little bit on my rent and everything, and maybe say add a roommate or downsize or downgrade a little bit, and I saved even a little bit of money, if I invested that 15 years from now, where would I be sitting?
You know, that's a great question too. So, let's look at those numbers. The average rent in 2025 for a one bedroom apartment is around $1,700 a month. So let's say you're on the higher end, around $1,800 a month in rent, and decided to downgrade to a $1,500 a month apartment. For the sake of this argument and the inability to tell the future, let's say those rents stay the same for the next 15 years. Now we have an extra $300 a month to invest. So after investing that $300 a month for 15 years, you will have roughly $130,000 at that 11% return.
But let's continue this pattern of cutting back. Say you were able to shop around your car insurance and save $50 a month. That extra $50 a month invested gets you nearly $22,000 after 15 years. So you add up your savings from rent and your savings from that, you'll have over $150,000. And again, that just gives you a great perspective of, wow, I was able to cut back here, save an extra $100 here, because I mean, there are plenty of things you can shop around and find at cheaper rates. Maybe you don't want to downsize, but you shop for a new phone plan, new insurance for this or that. All these things, if you're able to add it up together and invest it later on down the line, not that far away, because everyone's like, oh, 15 years. But you'll look back 15 years from now, you're like, oh my gosh, that was yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
And boom, you'll have possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on how far you can cut back.
So this thought experiment was by no means to say renting is bad and you should go buy a house or anything like that. This was just to make an extreme example to go, wow, that's insane. I can't do that. I need a place to live. But if I were to take all that money, look how much I would be at. Almost $500,000. Now, if you just look at the small things like your phone, maybe instead of upgrading a phone every year, you do it every 3 or 4 years. Maybe instead of buying it brand new, you buy it used. All that money you keep trying to save yourself, especially if you're able to do it with subscriptions and on a monthly basis, it helps even more. But all that money you're able to save yourself, you can put that towards your investment. You were already expecting to spend it, so let's act like we're spending it, but we're paying ourselves now instead of paying somebody else. And that's the whole point of this experiment we wanted to put together and put it in perspective. Even the smallest thing you can keep cutting back and put towards your investments. The longer you let that run, the more and more impressed you'll be when compound interest just takes it and runs away with it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you walk away, hopefully, a millionaire in the end when you go to retire.
So again, perspective, perspective, perspective.
Wait,
It's all
I thought
about
it was location, location, location.
but it's all about your mindset here, guys. Again, we're not trying to discourage you or anything, but if you learned anything from this video or you're like, wow, I'd like to get more into the numbers, could you run some more average numbers in, say, this city or across the United States? We'd love to find places that we think and a lot of people could cut back and where they'd be, say, at retirement age, starting at our age or anything like that. Whatever you want to know, please leave it down in the comments. We love hearing from you guys. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. If you think this is good information for anyone else, feel free to share it their way. And of course, we appreciate it if you guys would subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for next week.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting, you'll spend it and be broke again.